Hello, what's up guys? This is Axel. Welcome to A-Tech Reviews. Today's video is going to be a bit special for me because I kind of feel that maybe we have discovered something excellent today. Maybe we have found a new gem, and I'm talking about the new SIVGA Que. It's a single dynamic driver IEM. It costs around $69.99, something like that. And it has a beryllium plated diaphragm. And let's begin. This is the box it comes with, and this is the carrying case. Appropriately sized. It's very nice. It's made out of a leather-like material, and it's kind of like semi-rigid. It's not fully a hard case, and it's not a soft case either. You can see it's pretty protective. It's kind of deep. Like if you look at it, it's kind of deep, so it's kind of spacious inside. Let's look here what you get. You get these two earpieces. I will get to them in a second. You get this beautiful cable I will get into as well. And then you have this piece of webbing, and let me just get the ear tips out of the way. And then you get, it's a very spacious case. You can put, I put my BTR7 even. You can see the amount of depth here. It's excellent. I will put this here. It even has this carrying hook, which acts like a lanyard. And then you get two types of ear tips. They even have like the SIVGA name printed on it. You can see that here. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Anyway, one of the ear tips is narrow bore. The other ear tip is a wide bore IEM ear tips. And the narrow bore gives it, like makes the bass stronger, slightly stronger in a way, and makes the soundstage a bit more intimate or a bit more narrow. The wide bore enhances the treble perception, makes the things sound a bit airy, and the soundstage a bit wider. Emphasis on the word slight. These are very slight changes. Like it's not massive or even noticeable unless you focus on it, in my opinion. Getting to the cable, this is a LITS type cable. And let me show you guys like how cool it is. Like this is one of the best cables I've ever seen under $200, and that's my honest opinion. Look at it. It's a cable that has, first of all, zero microphonics. It has zero tangling, at least in the lower half below the chin slider, where you can see the twisted pairs here. And it's very soft. It's very pliable. Look at the material. It's covered in this like material that's like a sheath. I don't know, like it's like a plastic, very smooth. It glides. We'll post a picture, maybe it will give you a better idea. You have a nice 3.5 connector, a quality one as well. And the cable is very nice. Here, this part has a bit of memory above the chin cinch slider. And the cinch slider itself is very, very stable. You can move it with no friction, and it stays no matter where you put it. I mean, this is an example right here. You know, this is a quality cable. I would love to see more of that. Anyway, that's the cable. Then you get two earpieces, which actually look gorgeous. Have a look for yourself and see how they look like. This is like a wooden faceplate. Sorry about that. It's a wooden faceplate, and the body itself is a zinc alloy. It's slightly on the heavier side. Like I weighed it, and it's 10 grams, around 10 grams, similar to, slightly lighter than the SIMGOT EA500 LM. And then you have the nozzle. I will post the measurements for it. You have two vents here for driver flex and for the ear pressure buildup and stuff like that. Comfort-wise, it's very comfortable for me. They say like they did some work with the ergonomics and ear shape and stuff like that. For me, it's comfortable. I wear it. I don't feel the heaviness. I don't feel anything. When you like insert the cable right here, it's going to make a popping sound like so. Maybe you didn't hear it. Anyway, it makes a popping sound. I thought I broke it, but it turns out it's natural. So that's it about the accessories on the unboxing. Let's talk about the sound. Let's put the frequency response graph on the screen and let's have a look. Now, the sound signature of the SIVGA Que, I would describe it as a bit of a V-shaped, but a bright V-shape. There is a focus on the treble aspect here. Let's begin with the sub-bass and mid-bass. Now, the bass shelf here is a mid-bass focused one. Like, there is a good sub-bass performance, but it kind of gets stronger around the 60 Hz area. And usually our ears are not as sensitive the lower down we go in frequencies. For example, we need more amount of sub bass in order to perceive it compared to mid bass, for example. That's just the way our hearing works. And our hearing is like sensitive in the 1 to 4K area, for example, you know, for the mid-range and vocals and stuff like that. So anyway, the sub bass here is not a strong rumble. Like, it is a gentle rumble. When I listen to sub bass heavy tracks, it is there, but it's not like pronounced or noticed that much. You have to focus to perceive it. And then when we move on to the mid bass, we get the bass is a bit strong. Like, it's not the highest quality bass. It doesn't have a texture like the SIMGOT EA500 LM, for example, but it has a very, very strong impact, a very, very strong slam. It's a bit heavy, but it's not as detailed again as the SIMGOT EA500, and I will get to that in the comparison segment. It is very, very, like, I would say, powerful, strong, like, very satisfactory. Like, I feel it is done in a very good way. Makes me feel satisfied with my music. Like, when I listen to some EDM, hip-hop, I feel the slam is there in the background. It's giving me that mid-bass. And the balance with the sub-bass is fine. I would have wished they included more sub-bass, but what's there is fine. I'm not going to complain about it. Like, it's really enjoyable. Now, things change when we move on to the transition between the mid-bass and the lower mid-range. And here we get some bass bleed. And there is some smearing that happens and covers up the vocals of the male. It doesn't cover them, but just doesn't make them as clear as the female vocals. But I'm surprised that it maintains a lot of clarity and detail. And I'm not sure how it happens. Like, some IEMs have that quality. I've only seen one other IEM that has that, which is the Duno Falcon Ultra. I think it has something to do with the driver quality, because the Duno Falcon Ultra as well has that similar kind of bass bleed, but it maintains detail and separation in the lower mid-range, whether for instruments or male vocals or whatever. Here is a kind of similar situation, but slightly less. Like, the male vocals are not as clear because of the bass, but the bass, like, gives it a bit of a note weight, gives it a bit of a warmth. So expect things not to sound thin. Rather, they sound natural, organic, and have that warmth to it. It's a warm-sounding lower mid-range, which still maintains a lot of clarity and detail, which is surprising to me, honestly. Based on the graph, I expected it to be muddied, but it's not. It's actually very, very clean and detailed. So that's the lower mid-range. The upper mid-range, wow, like, a lot of focus here. The whole upper mid-range is very, very forward. Zero shoutiness. No problems at all here, whether you're listening to whatever genre of music you're listening to, and even if you're listening to loud music, it's not going to sound shouty at all. Actually, it's very pleasurable, but it's very clean. Like, I think if it was increased more than that, it could be shouty, but right now, zero shoutiness. Just a very forward mid-range, which makes, like, a lot of things like electric guitars, acoustic guitars get their bite. Saxophones are very forward. Even violins are extremely clear and enhanced and separated from the mix, which is awesome. Like, maybe the dip you can see around the 3K region is responsible for it being not shouty. I'm not sure. When we move on to the lower treble, now you can see here that the 8 kilohertz part, that's a resonance peak. Like, even if it looks high on the graph, you have to listen to make sure it's not sibilant or anything. I'm happy to say it's not sibilant. This is not a sibilant IEM at all, but it's a very bright IEM, meaning it has a lot of emphasis on the treble region. There's a lot of clarity in the treble region, a lot of air, a lot of emphasis there. And when you listen to instruments, even like violins or cellos, there's a lot of air with that. A lot of the harmonics are way emphasized, and you can hear even a lot of space around instruments, and female vocals sound very clear, and they have that air around them, and cymbal strikes and hi-hats are super detailed, and it gives everything you're listening to, you know that feeling of air. Even an EDM song, it has that sounds with it and stuff like that, but it's never sharp or sibilant. Maybe the two dips you can see, like below the 8 kilohertz, and after that you can see two dips. Maybe they're responsible for that. I'm not sure, but it's a very, very detailed treble presentation, which aids in the perception of detail retrieval as well. This is one of the special things about this IEM is it is very, very detailed for the price. Like my previous video, I was like talking about the Del CAE and stuff, and this one is like on another level of detail. The treble here as well adds a lot of that element. It makes a lot of the stuff here very detailed, a lot of micro detail, a lot of macro detail. Dynamics are excellent. It's a very energetic and fun to listen to IEM. It's a very fun IEM, and the treble is done very well. Like the treble extension is excellent. Soundstage, I will surprise you when I say this is one of those IEMs that have excellent soundstage. I'm talking width, depth, height. Like it's a holographic kind of soundstage. It's not going to be like one of those expensive IEMs like like Unique Melody Master and stuff like that. No, that's not what I mean. But what I mean is there's a good sense of width, depth, and height when you're listening to it from all directions. Imaging as well is excellent for the price, and even better. Keep in mind the excellent treble extension as well aids in the imaging and stuff like that. It's very, very good. Now, I will begin the comparison segment right now, and I will start with the Moondrop Kato. This is the Moondrop Kato. It's a nice IEM. I can never let this one go. I love it so much. Now, when you compare it, I just noticed the graph is very similar, and I was like hoping that maybe it's close or anything like that, but let me begin and say it's not close. It's not close at all. Like, you listen to the Kato, it's much more natural sounding, much more detailed. The imaging was on another level, and it's just insane. Like the Kato, you listen to it, you can even like pinpoint things in the center and on the right. You can do that on the SIVGA Que, but the level of detail is much less in comparison, and how realistic the sound is much less. Bass quality as well, it's different. So unfortunately, cannot replace the Kato. Another IEM is the Duno Falcon Ultra, and again, it's not a fair comparison. I just noticed the similarity and I want to present it to you guys. Still, the Duno Falcon Ultra is much better. Like, there's no comparison as well. So what other IEM that can actually compete with it and is close? Let me tell you. This bad boy right here. The SIMGOT EA500 LM. One of my favorite IEMs ever, especially considering the price. It's like a reference in a way. I haven't seen an IEM that can beat it in everything at that price point as well. Let me see now. Like the SIVGA, I will compare it to you guys. The SIVGA is better. I will say it like that, straight up. It's better than the SIMGOT EA500 LM in almost every way except two things. Bass and imaging. These two things, still the SIMGOT EA500 LM does them very well. Now, the impact is almost similar between them, but the SIMGOT wins in the bass texture. Still, the SIMGOT EA500 LM has the better bass texture, and I don't know how to describe it. Like, it just still better. I will put it at that. It's still better. I wish that the Q was better, but it's not. Another thing is the imaging. The EA500 LM has the better imaging. There's more accuracy and more clarity of where the sound is coming from, spatial cues. Everything else, the Q is better. Soundstage, yes, the SIVGA Que is better. Detail, they're both on the same level. They both have the same level of detail retrieval. Like the mid-range, yeah, the SIVGA Que is better. It has more clarity, and it's not even one time shouty or sibilant. Although it's a bright sounding, it's not shouty or sibilant at all. The SIVGA Que as well has a bit more note weight and body in the mid-range, and it has a bit of warmth in the lower mid-range. The EA500 LM, in comparison, has a thinner overall sound. Like, not only does it sound bright, but it sounds thinner as well. The lower mid-range specifically sounds a bit thinner. It's kind of like more analytical sounding, sterile sounding, something like that. But the SIVGA has that warmth, has that body, has that naturalness. It sounds more natural while being on the same level of detail as well, with better soundstage, but the bass texture goes to the EA500 LM. That's it, guys. That's been my video review of the SIVGA Que. Do I recommend this? 100%. I think this is one of the best IEMs right now under 100. I cannot believe it's $70. If you've tried it, if you've listened to it, let me know down in the comment section below. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.